Welcome back to CentralCoastRadio.com. I'm your host Kyle, and I'd like to talk about the latest little film from back home in Jolly Old Island, The Miracle Club. It's a new film. It's just released in local cinemas, and well, I think it'd be best to start with a little history lesson, which will kind of fill in some of the backstory from this movie. Now, in the French market town of Lourdes in 1858, there was a young woman named Bernadette Saburius, and she claimed to have communicated with the Virgin Mary herself in this little grotto area. Now, this was caused quite a hubbub, and in the years following this kind of significant event, the site became uh, it became a location of great importance to those of the Catholic Church, and annually, now more than ever, Lord sees over 5 million people making the pilgrimage to bathe in the waters of this grotto, which these waters are said to provide miraculous healing properties which cure illnesses of both the body and the soul. Now, a century later, now this is the movie plot we're getting into now. A century later, in 1960 Dublin, Ireland, several women within the small working class suburb of Ballyfermot seek to win this local talent show. The first prize is going to be tickets to make their dreams reality with a trip to Lords. The women in this little talent show are Eileen, played by Kathy Bates, Lily, played by Maggie Smith, and the young mother Dolly, played by Agnes O'Casey. Now, each of these women have their own reasons for wanting to make the journey, and collectively, it's going to be a moment of freedom and independence that these women seek to have, and because in their regular daily lives they don't really have much. They don't have much freedom. They're pretty much just taking care of their husbands or their children, or the children and their husbands. Well, the ladies win the tickets. It would be a very short movie if they didn't. But an unexpected visitor arrives on the eve of their pilgrimage. This is Chrissy. Laura Linney plays her in this movie. Chrissy's been in exile for 40 years, and she returns from the USA for her mother's funeral. Accompanying the trio, she accompanies the trio in her mother's stead, and her presence kind of stirs up bitter memories that have been long forgotten. And as old wounds reopen, the women can't. They need to confront their pasts if they're to have any kind of future. And along the way, they'll find that miracles can come in the most unexpected forms. Now, this movie has actually had quite a long road to finally making it to the silver screen. It's been in development now for quite a while. Um, no pun intended, I guess, dealing with a religious movie of sorts. Uh, Almost 20 years ago, um, Joshua D. Mara and the Dublin-born James Smallhorn, their screenplay was sold with James Smallhorn set to direct. At the time, they already had Kathy Bates and Maggie Smith attached. Now, the project didn't go forward at the time, but it's now picked up a new director in the award-winning fellow Dubliner Thaddeus O'Sullivan. Now, this kind of sense of hometown belonging lends itself really well to the film's authenticity in recreating 1960s Dublin. Not only were the writers around in that area, but well, at least one of them was, but the director was as well. So at times the movie feels like a film that's made in a very different age for just how well it teleports us to that era. It presents characters of this devout religious faith, and the story tackles what many may consider to be kind of outdated ideas today, but it does so in a really tactful and nuanced way. There's also brilliant costume design by Judith Williams, which I think also helps to realize this particular point in history, like a time when the church and faith in miracles were really of paramount importance to people of these small uh, working towns and villages. Now, Lords is then also presented as this kind of larger than life place of beauty. I'm not sure if they ever actually went there for filming, but it really has this great. Um, it's really got this kind of sense of real great history and importance, and we learn that through the eyes of the ladies of Ballyfermot. There's interesting examinations as well as the commercialism of what is essentially a tourist trap as well. As the ladies get there, they go through this gift shop and they can't help but comment on whether Jesus Christ would have appreciated such a holy place being turned into basically a market. And spoilers for the Bible, Jesus uh, wasn't really keen on holy places being turned into marketplaces. um, there's other themes of heartbreak and redemption and even female empowerment explored throughout the film, as the man of Ballyfermot, for the first time, really discover how hard it is to live without their wives. Stephen Ray is in this movie as Aileen's gruff but lovable husband, Frank. And I think he's really a standout as he kind of attempts to keep the house and family in order while she's gone. I really am a fan of Stephen Ray, and I haven't seen him in a whole lot recently, but yeah, he was just a joy to watch in this movie in a relatively small part, but whenever it cut back to him, he made a good splash, a splash. He made a real splash in the movie. The real draw of the film, however, is its amazing cast of talented, proven leading ladies. The kind of tale of woe and pain that binds many of the characters together is really mysterious by design. We only really learn exactly why Chrissy's arrival is such a painful thing for the other women uh, really late in the movie. And unfortunately, by then, I think, well, at least personally, I believe that audiences may have already kind of chosen sides based on what is apparent to them from the start. With Lily, Maggie Smith's character, and particularly Eileen, Kathy Bates's character, being so toxic and hateful towards Laura Linney's character at times that they can be exceptionally hard to empathize with. And this is kind of a sensitive subject, but I also feel that some updating to the film's script or characters' relations with each other may have been necessary after such a long delay in production. Um, I can buy that the Tennessee-born Kathy Bates isn't can be a native of Dublin. Like she's a great actor. She can play an Irish woman, fine, but I can't really believe that she and the substantially younger Laura Linney were once childhood friends of a similar age. Um, I think maybe they by the time that it's actually revealed that they were once childhood friends and they're supposed to be basically the same age, you have already made up you may have already been trying to piece together their relationship, and you may have thought that Kathy Bates's character may have been a friend of Laura Linney's mother, because it's just, well, age that would be much more age appropriate, I think. Um, again, Kathy Bates is amazing in the movie. Other than that, but it just goes to show that an actor can turn in an absolutely amazing performance and yet still feel slightly miscast, just because of other factors. But despite these minor issues, the Miracle Club it remains a heartwarming and joyful experience. I think it highlights the importance of letting go of the past and past transgressions, and really to make your own miracles rather than waiting for them. Uh, really, it's also the type of film that I'm sure my Irish mother will love to watch and remind her of what it was like growing up back home. So I'm going to give this 3 out of 5. I think it had some rough edges, but it was still an entertaining enough film, and I thought the women, the lead actors in it, were all great. So 3 out of 5 for me. You're listening to centralcoastradio.com, and we will be back right after this.